Good evening, welcome to the Tuesday, September 25th, 2025 Select Board meeting. We're starting a little bit early tonight. We're going to go directly into executive session after we open and do the public announcements.
You want the public announcements?
I'm going there.
We didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance yet.
Please stand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Mr. Neal, would you please read the public announcement?
Yes, thank you. We are looking for citizens at large to become members of the following committees: the Bylaw Committee, the Cable and Internet Committee, the Camp Kiwanee Commission, Capital Improvement Committee, Economic Development Committee, Energy Committee, Historical Commission, Memorial Day and Patriotic Observance Committee, and the Recreation Committee. Volunteer applications may be found at the town website, www.hanson-mass.gov, or by calling the Select Board's office at 781-293-2131. The Planning Board has an opening for a Planning Board Associate Member who shall be eligible to participate solely in matters in which the Planning Board is acting as a special permit granting authority in accordance with General Law 40A, Section 9. The Chairman of the Planning Board may designate the Associate Member to sit on the Planning Board for the purposes of acting on a special permit application. In the case of absence, inability to act, or conflict of interest on the part of any member of the Planning Board, or in the event of a vacancy on the Planning Board, the Associate Member shall be appointed for a 3-year term by the Select Board and shall be a resident of the town of Hanson. The Town Clerk's Office would like to remind all board and committee members that they have to be sworn by the Town Clerk once they have been appointed and/or reappointed before they can carry out their duties as a member of their particular board or committee. Mass General Law 41, Section 107. If any board or committee member would like to resign from their position, a resignation letter needs to be filed with the Town Clerk in order for the resignation to be in effect. Mass General Law 41, Section 109. Dollars for Scholars announced that their 10th annual Bowling for Dollars for Scholars will be held on Saturday, March 29th and Sunday, March 30th from 12 noon to 5 p.m. at the Hanson Bowlodrome, adjacent to the McQuon AA, at 171 Reed Street in Hanson. For every string bowled during the event, a donation will be made to benefit Whitman and Hanson Dollars for Scholars. The cost to bowl will be $10 per string with no charge for shoe rental. Door prizes and complimentary food will be available throughout the 2-day event. All funds raised during the event will benefit the class of 2025 in the form of scholarships. For more information, please contact Mike Ganshert at 781-252-9683 or visit www.whitmanandhanson.dollarsforscholars.org. Whitman Hanson is hosting a community meeting on Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the library at Whitman Hanson Regional High School. Dinner will be provided. Please RSVP to miatham@hptc.org. The 16th annual Hanson Cleanup Greenup will be Saturday, April 26th from 9 a.m. to noon, rain or shine. Volunteers will meet at the Nathaniel Thomas Mill to sign in and pick up supplies and arrange assignments. All will reconvene at the end of the morning to report out and have a pizza party. The Hanson Public Library is holding a Library of Things showcase on Saturday, April 5th, 2025, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Stop in to explore all the amazing things you can borrow from the library. Try out giant yard games, musical instruments, educational kits, technology equipment, and more. Enjoy free popcorn and other refreshments while you browse the collection. All are welcome to join supporters of the library for a Love Your Hanson Library Day on Saturday, April 12th, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. in front of the Hanson Town Hall. Stop by for as long as you want to celebrate National Library Week and help raise awareness of the library as a vital community resource. A take-home craft for children will be available to pick up, and refreshments will be provided. The Hanson American Legion is hosting a sip and shop craft fair Saturday, April 26th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be over 60 vendors inside and out on the pavilion. Upstairs and downstairs bars will, with a bake sale, raffle, and Cape Cod pizzas. Table space is $30. For more information, contact David George at davidgeorge02341@gmail.com or call or text 781-316-7605. Camp Kiwanee is hosting a wedding expo on Sunday, April 27th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be over 30 wedding vendors with giveaways, food trucks, and a cash bar. Admission and parking are free. For more information, contact Renee at rbrown@hanson-mass.gov. And the following select board meetings are April 8th and April 15th. And the annual special town meeting is May 5th.
All right, thank you very much.
That was easy.
One correction for Whitman Hanson Well, the contact name is M. Latham, MLATHAM, @hptc.org.
Did I say the wrong thing?
You said I just
Oh,
want to
I'm
make
sorry
sure
about
people
that.
respond and get the right email.
All right. Best bet is for people to go on their website, they can get that info. All right, thank you, and apologies for being late, but thank you for filling up the time, Mr. Hill.
There was
Appreciate it.
plenty to do.
And that brings us, I assume we did Pledge of Allegiance and everything. Okay, great. That brings us to executive session. We will be entering executive session, and we will be returning to open session. We are entering executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions and preparations for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, police chief, deputy police chief. Executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body and the chair so declares. Litigation discussions, union negotiations, admin, fire, highway, police, and executive session pursuant to Open Meeting Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to review and approve executive session minutes not to be released March 11th, 2025. I will entertain a motion to enter executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 Okay, we are entering executive session. Right, great, thank you, and welcome back to the Hanson Select Board meeting of March 25th, 2025. First up is our override ballot question. Ms. Green.
Okay, so we're just going to confirm the language, and ask the board, for a vote to include this, override question on the ballot. The ballot question reads, shall the town of Hanson be allowed to assess an additional $3 million in real estate and personal property taxes for the purposes of balancing the annual budget, thus providing full budgetary services for both the town and the schools for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025?
Okay. So I will entertain a motion.
So moved with the understanding that it's up to the townspeople.
Yes, we're merely a conduit for choices to be made, and that is all we can
I
do.
will second it, but I wish that we could separate the school out.
We're actually gonna have a conversation about that. That is something that I wanted to
I will
talk about.
second it then.
Okay. Okay,
And that's that's different than the.
it's 3 million.
There's 31.
It's 3 million.
3 million.
3 million, not 3,100,000. Okay.
Yep. Okay, all in favor? Okay, great. So since we are on that, question, I did have several people reach out to me and ask, why aren't you guys separating the school, override portion from the operational override portion? I also spoke to folks in Whitman to try to figure out how they are handling it because, as you will recall, if the two towns don't handle things correctly, everything gets out of it's just a dissonance, and then we end up in the same situation we were in last year. Based on, the several phone conversations, and I also had Miss Green check with Mary Beth Carter, who's the town administrator in Whitman, they are doing one all-encompassing override as well for something in the vicinity of 2.3 million or somewhere in there. And their feeling is they don't want to pit the schools against their town services. That does not mean we have to do it that way. We could certainly split the question in two. And let's think through how that would work.
So when we split the question in two, though, we know that the emails are gonna start flying all over the place from everybody in the school side, and they're all gonna fearmonger that. And the tone and tenor of the town right now is, they don't wanna fund the school, they don't wanna fund us, they don't wanna fund anybody. It's just, I don't see that as being a clarifying way to do it.
No, and I agree with you, and I think that, if it's split, and I will say the finance committee felt fairly strongly that it should be one all-encompassing override, and of course, we get to ultimately decide how it's placed in the in the warrant and on the ballot, that's our job. But I think when you've got a group of, individuals who are devoted to the task as the finance committee is, it's only the right thing to do to give some, deference and, some consideration to what their recommendation is. And I think, so if we play that out, if we, broke that up, let's walk through the scenarios. If the operational override should pass, and the school override did not pass in Hanson, and the operational override passes in Whitman, now we've got the same situation that we ended up with last year, where the schools have got the funding that they need from Whitman, but they would not have it from us. We could send it back to the school committee. Perhaps they would send it back unchanged, which would leave us having to foot a bill without the benefit of an override for the schools. And there's like 16 different scenarios. I'm obviously not going to go through each one of them because it's painful and I'll probably lose my way anyway. But then there's the potential if the school override does pass. Let's say they rally the troops and people show up and they say, you know, I want to pass the school override. That funding would only be earmarked for the schools because the override question would specifically state that. And we'd still be in a position of having to eviscerate our town hall staff and others. And I should say, in the case of the first scenario that I gave you, if the school piece didn't pass and ours does pass, and we still have no funding for the school, and the school comes back with the same assessment, well, guess what? Guess where that money's gonna come from? Even though we passed the override and we wanted it for different purposes, it's gonna come from that pot of money. So, any way you look at it, these are inextricably linked, and although we have no control over 43% of our budget, and although, you know, I'm not gonna saber rattle or say half of the stuff that I've repeated ad nauseum, I'm even boring myself. We're where we are. The The only thing I can say is if people feel uncomfortable, you need to reach out to your elected officials by way of the school committee. You need to implore them to come down on the assessment. You need to call them. You need to call the superintendent. You need to attend meetings. You need to be engaged with the school committee. This board has no control over the school budget. We can certainly push back and say, we would like you to reconsider your budget. And I do think, as a matter of fact, Ms. Green, we haven't had that conversation. We did just get the letter from the school with the certified assessment. And I would like to see if the board would like to vote to push back and ask if they could sharpen their pencil just a little bit more, and see if there is more that they could do to whittle that down. Given the fact that we are going to an override and we are willing to fund at least seek funding, for a very large increase, I think the least we could do is to ask for them to
What's the
decrease.
percentage increase this year?
I believe it was.
9.87.
Yeah, 9.87.
Nice, nice.
So what do people think about taking a vote and sending a letter and requesting that? I feel that
I
we do not
move.
have anything to
I
lose.
move that we
Okay.
take.
I would second that big time.
Okay.
We need to push back, and they need to really, I'm not sure if we should give them a percentage. I know we gave them a percentage, we gave them 5%, we gave them 3.8%, we gave them 2%, and they came back with whatever it was last time. And now this time they came
It was
back.
7 something and now it's 9 something.
Yeah.
What is it?
And it was 7 something last year. now
Yeah,
it's
so
9
they,
So, did any,
Call it 10.
I seconded it.
okay, and so, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so if we could craft a letter, Ms. Green, and imploring, increased partnership and sensitivity to our collective, economic situation, and the draconian cuts that we would need to make. And I would also like to, get, some numbers from, the schools on what they will need to cut if the override does not pass, because I don't believe we've had any information come to us. At least I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything discussed. So we've got that out of the way, and I do want to put this bee in everybody's bonnet. And we will have to talk to legal counsel more about this, but I briefly talked to Ms. Green about it. I thought, we already had voted to go after the state because of the state auditor's opinion that we had an unfunded mandate, and not we, but the party that had requested the opinion, Rentham, had in fact gotten opinions from the state auditor saying that they thought that was an unfunded mandate. And I thought, can we talk about the elephant in the room, which is the number of unfunded mandates with the school, which is part, not all of why we're where we are, but it's a large part of why we are where we are. And I think that we ought to consider, perhaps, asking for an opinion from the state auditor. I found some material which I forwarded to Ms. Green. It wasn't in time to post for tonight, so I don't want to really deliberate about it. I just wanted to, like I said, put that bee in all of your bonnets and have you think about it. I'll have Ms. Green forward the information. We can talk to legal counsel about what their opinion is. But I thought perhaps we could even talk to the school district and Whitman and joining us, because we all would benefit from having the unfunded mandates funded. We wouldn't be getting into this perpetual whirlwind every year, or at least I like to hopefully optimistically think we wouldn't. It would certainly decrease the amount of saber rattling that needs to be done.
Well,
When at one of the first school committee meeting where they discussed the budget, on the way out, I mentioned to one of the finance guys that the same thing I asked of Eric is, in order to really know what's going on, why are we having this override? We need to see numbers for the previous few years. And to him, I said, is it because of these mandates that we don't have? Is it because Chapter 70 funds rules are changing? explain to the citizens in a budget, don't just give us a number that says this is how much we're gonna spend. Explain why it's going up.
Yeah, well, it's fairly it's complicated for the, you know, but it isn't in a way. It's like, you know, so there was a report, that Suzanne Bump did. So she was the prior state auditor. I think she did it in like 2022. In which she listed all of the things that are unfunded state mandates, including, and this doesn't have to do with the schools, but it just goes to show you how far-reaching it is, community preservation. Because originally, when community preservation was proposed, they were matching 100% of what each town put in. And then every year it became a negotiation by the state representatives of how much, you know, they'd take whatever money was left over and then they'd divvy it up. And it was like, well, this year we're going to match 15% for community preservation because it's just community preservation. But it's like, no. The deal that we struck was you were going to give 100%, and now you've changed that. So again, that's one example, but yes, like special ed is a huge one, transportation is a huge one. Robbie knows because he used to be on the school committee. I mean, the number of things that are not getting funded, and so what it does is it shifts things onto these small towns. Now, I don't know if you were in the session that I was in. I think you were, about education, and the
Yes.
lieutenant governor got up, Kim Driscoll, and she specifically said that she knew that the Student Opportunity Act, that they were aware at the state level that the Student Opportunity Act had some defects, and that some of those defects were unfairly affecting small towns like us. So anyway, that's my pitch. We'll put it on the next agenda. I just thought I'd mention it to you. I'll send you guys some information, and, you know, maybe you guys, you know, maybe we decide, you know, we're already going after the MBTA, we'll do this later, whatever, but I feel like as long as it's not costly for us to do, maybe we want to think about it.
We should think about, but you talked about a whirlwind. There is a whirlwind that's about to hit the education system with the defunding and the elimination of the Department of Education. So they're gonna have to try to figure out how they're going to do all this.
Yep.
Going forward, at a state level.
Yes, and I think a lot of the, Jeff Simonek had mentioned that he's afraid of losing federal funding. So, you know, some of the federal funding that they might lose, and I don't know what programs it was for or whatever. But, you know, if they lose if the schools are losing federal funding too, and we still have this huge gap between unfunded mandates and that's not going to help. So, you know, so they're gonna continuously look back to these little towns.
The little towns can't continue with the funding of the Taj Mahals and everything else that they want too.
Yeah.
How about,
I know,
how
moderation,
about getting back to educating this children instead of all the other stuff that we do with the children?
everything in
Very
moderation.
noble idea.
Yeah, all right, so, anyway, did you need anything else on the ballot question? No, trying to get us back on track here.
Yeah.
All right, and then, I'm trying to see what I've got you guys. Oh, okay, all right, because you've already been here for a while.
Get him out of here.
So,
Get him outta here.
so I will entertain a motion to accept the anonymous gift of 2 automated external defibrillators, or to those in the know, AED, as Chief O'Brien. Now we can add that to our repertoire, to the Hanson Fire Department.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, great. That's exciting.
Thank you, yes. Actually, Deputy Barron's brought them with us tonight.
Oh, yeah? Hopefully you don't need to use them.
No, so this,
Okay.
Lieutenant Malley, Firefighter Heffernan, and Firefighter McHale did a CPR class at the senior center approximately a month ago, and right after that, a resident who'd like to remain anonymous contacted us saying she'd like to donate 2 AEDs.
Wow.
To the department from it.
Is that where they're going, is the senior center, or where they're going?
No, these will actually go in 2 of our command vehicles.
Okay,
We're working
yeah.
on other ones for town buildings right
Good.
now with the chief.
You must have done a heck of a class if you're getting donations like that, yeah. That's great.
Have you taken a CPR class?
I have.
Okay, because I know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got.
Oh, you were hip and happening?
Hip and happen.
All right.
So thank you very much.
Well, thank
And
you.
We'll be sending a letter to the donor.
Yeah, that's great, and thank you, anonymous donor, we appreciate that.
How much does one of those cost, just for my own.
About $2,000 a piece.
Wow,
And Deputy Darren's working for on that, so.
Thank you.
that's excellent.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, and then we have accept the following gifts from the estate of Henry and Barbara Wrightington. 1958 monograph, 1958 annual report, 1959 finance committee report, 1959 public hearing notice from the Hanson Planning Board, and a 1960, I don't know if it's 67 or 4.
64.
Oh, 54, there you go. Pictorial, history of the town of Hanson. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
I wish I had brought, I meant to bring, I found some postcards also, and 2 commemorative Hanson plates.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have them too.
That's cool. Who were they issued by? Like, was it a furniture store or something like that?
I
This
can't
one?
remember,
All right.
I cleaned them up, I have them at home, I'll bring them in.
Yeah, that's cool.
I wanna keep the town plates,
Yeah, I don't blame
and,
you.
yeah.
Are they
it's-
blue and white?
Yeah, yeah, they're pretty, and,
Yeah.
you know, there would have been more if I'd have caught it before they went bye-bye.
Yeah.
I caught these, so.
This is great, and, I know Henry, you were close to Henry and Barbara.
Yes, I was.
So thank you for securing those for us. And then we have accept the gift of 2 Town of Hanson Centennial Celebration photographs from Mr. Paul Barrisell. I called Mr. Barrisell to thank him. He is in, Buxton, Maine, I believe. We had a lovely conversation. Lovely man. His family was very, very involved in the town, and he was thrilled that we were going to be accepting these, so.
These are wonderful. Where are they
Yes.
gonna go?
I think we can put them in town hall, right? Yeah,
I'm not sure where yet.
Yeah.
One down here and maybe one upstairs.
yeah, lovely man, very involved.
These are
His
beautiful.
grandfather, I believe, was both the treasurer collector and the town clerk, at the same time. Like, yeah, he
I think it's in one of
yeah.
those books that somebody.
Oh, he wrote a book. He wrote a book, and he told me that it's in the library in the historical room, so, and he said if I want to know anything about the Barrisell family, it's all there in the book. So, yeah. I mean, he was just full of fascinating little facts. So anyway, I will entertain the motion to accept the gift of the, photographs.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Accept the anonymous gift of 150 to the Council on Aging for performance of Bill Reedy. I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And I'm recusing myself. Accept the following gift received in February of 2025, $200 to the Veterans Gift Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Surplus, people are getting feisty
There's
outside, I
people
think.
out there.
Surplus equipment with the Police Department, Eaton APU. I have no idea, what does APU mean?
No clue. That I don't know.
Is that like some,
Some type of unit.
all right.
Now, do we have?
Auxiliary power units.
All right, great.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
We're getting all kinds of acronyms
Yeah,
to
we
add to
are.
our repertoire tonight. All right, I will entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Amazing. Dollars for Scholars, declare April Dollars for Scholars Month. Erect a fundraising thermometer on town hall, well, we're not erecting it, we're allowing them to erect it, right? The one that mysteriously shoots up to the top just as their end of the month is, I'm not implying anything. All right, I will entertain a motion.
Do we need to do anything for that? Second.
No, we don't, we just allow them to erect it on town hall.
They will do the.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen it. They put
Yeah,
like
no,
the
I've
red
seen it. I
tape
just
on
didn't know
it,
if
yeah.
we needed Charlie doing it or.
No,
To
no.
declare,
No.
do you need to declare April as Dollar for Scholars Month?
Yes, we said that.
Oh, I missed, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we motioned on both of those.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
yep.
You need to sign this.
And then that brings us to, 2025 May Annual Special Town Meeting. Ms. Green.
So the warrant, as always, it's a work in progress. We enter all the articles, as we receive them, but there was a cutoff date of February 7th or 8th. But we did have placeholders in for articles a little bit later. in the warrant, there is an article that was, that has been added. Where is that article for the land purchase? Is that in the back? 18. Article 18. That's legal.
When is
Sorry.
our walkthrough, Ms. McDowell? Is that at our next meeting?
Yes, it is.
Seems so close.
It's coming quick.
Yeah.
All right, so there,
It's 38.
38, okay. Article 38, there was a gentleman who came in, he owns property on Pine Street. He owns actually, he owns a number of parcels. And then within those parcels, there's a very small piece of land. It's parcel A66, that he would like to purchase from the town. According to the assessor, that piece of property that the town owns is valued at $4,500. It's a very small piece of property. And he would like to purchase it from the town. I did send that to town council, and basically we just need, town meeting approval to allow the board to sell that piece of property to the gentleman, who already owns, pretty much all the parcels that surround that property.
I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what you're saying. So if I want to just offer to buy some random parcel of land from the town, I can just make an offer to the town, and if we put it on the town meeting warrant, you will let me buy that piece of property?
Well, basically, we need to see what the property is valued at. If the property is valued at more than $35,000, we have to go through a bidding process, disposition. If the property is valued at less than that, the town can put it on a town meeting warrant to allow the select board to sell the property. But now it doesn't give an actual amount, so you can still negotiate to sell the property.
So who negotiates?
The select board would negotiate with the buyer. But because of the location of this parcel of land, because it's located already within the parcels that the gentleman already owns, and the parcel is very small, like I said, it's only valued about $4,500. It just makes sense to put it in the town warrant to allow the select board to enter into a sale of the property with
Have you
that gentleman.
checked with the town planner
I did check with him, yes.
on whether this is going to allow this person to do something with that property that they're not allowed to do now?
It's not gonna impinge on the road, right?
Well, if they do something with the property, they still have to follow all the regulations. But there is a thought that he wants to loop all the properties together to maybe do something with the properties that he owns already on Pine Street.
So then how do we know that it would be worth only $4,500?
Because there's nothing on the property at this point.
Right, but if it makes his other pieces of property more valuable, then why would we settle at $4,500?
We're not coming up with a number right here, right? We're just deciding if it's going to go.
Well, but she's saying it has to be worth less than $35,000 for us to follow this process, so.
Oh, but it might be worth, you're saying it could even be worth.
I
more
don't
than that.
know, but I'm
We don't
thinking
know.
about,
I don't know if we can future guess.
no, we probably can't, but I just want to make sure, I want to make sure we're negotiating. Our job is to do what's in the best interest of the town of Hanson, not this gentleman on Pine Street.
Right.
So I want to make sure that we're doing that.
How do you determine the valuation for the land?
Yeah.
Well, according to town council, it goes by what it's valued at the assessor.
So the assessor's the one that determines the value?
Yeah, it's valued by the assessor. So we have the assessor card for that small piece of property.
But we know that the assessor valuations are always lower than what
Right.
it actually brings at the market.
Yeah, like I said, this is literally a tiny, tiny little piece, a very
But
tiny
it makes
small piece.
his property contiguous.
My
But it
spider,
would-
I have to
right,
be
it would
honest with you,
connect, yeah.
my spider senses are tingling. I don't even know who this is, I don't know where the property is, I have no sense whatsoever of any of this, but my spider sense.
Mine are too.
Why are we choosing to sell it?
Because he came in he had been to the assessor to find out about that parcel, who owns it, what the value was, and then he came into our
I'd
office
like
to
to
ask
wait
about
on this and
purchasing.
do more investigation.
I agree. I also know of one almost exactly the same as this, and I think
Isn't this
if you
where you
start.
live?
What is it?
Isn't Pine Street near where you live?
No, I'm not sure where Pine Street is. I live on
Pine
Pine
Grove.
Grove
Oh,
Ave.
you're thinking
It's off of Pine Grove. It's
Yeah.
off of Pine Grove.
Oh, maybe this is the one I'm thinking of then. I'm not sure, but there is at least one who, he has an L-shaped lot, and it's that little piece there. So it might be the same piece.
Yeah, Ms. Green, I don't think
Okay.
that this,
Okay.
I don't
It is-
think
it is near
that
there.
this
Okay.
is something that I think needs to be added to the town meeting warrant, and I don't think that we need to be deciding this in May. I would like a lot more conversation about this.
Okay.
But I think.
I really think this feels like it's special treatment, and I don't want to do anything that feels like it's special treatment for somebody. That's really my major issue with it, is like, I just think if we're gonna sell the piece of property, we should do it like we've done every other piece of property we've sold, which is at auction. And if he wants to be the bidder, then he's the bidder. We set a minimum, and that's just how I think that it should be handled. This feels very, it doesn't feel appropriate to me.
Well, I can understand why he knows that there's a piece that is owned by the town, and he wants to buy it. I can understand that. I mean,
That's fine, but
he's adding to his property.
That's
I
fine.
get that, but we need to know more about.
That's what I'm
the piece of
saying.
property.
I just feel like we're getting
Yes.
rushed and we have no background information. So I would like to have this struck from the
We
main
don't have
town.
a
Yeah.
street number.
I would like
nothing.
to,
Good point.
if we can, kind of fast track all of those properties though. I mean, there's a lot of town-owned properties, like
I
similar
mean,
to
if
this.
we get him paying taxes on it, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
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 that we should- I'd
yes,
like to
I
move it.
agree with you, Mr. Hill. It has been a while since we've looked at the town-owned properties and done any auctions, so, maybe as part of what we're going to do with this, maybe we could include this on future properties that we would auction, but maybe it's time for us to dust off our little portfolio and see what we've got out there I know we don't have a lot like we used to, and the rules about takings have changed, so we can't,
Right.
you know, okay.
But there are a few that we already do
Yeah.
own that we could sell to get on the tax rolls.
Interesting. Atlantic Dye Stuff Company used to own it, huh? 1922? What could possibly go wrong with that?
So is this the first time that a proposal like this is, because,
But I
Yep.
don't remember.
Yeah.
yeah. is it-
In the almost 4 years I've been here, I haven't had somebody come in asking
But-
about, a very small piece that
Is it a
they
citizen-
own
citizen
basically all the
petition
rest
or
of the
anything? I don't
properties
think we
around
have to
it.
do-
No, and a citizen couldn't petition us to
Yeah.
sell. That's our job
Yeah.
alone.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that is.
No, but even if you got like
I just
20
never seen it
signatures.
go this way.
no, you can't
This guy
compel, like even the, gun thing, the letter that we got
Yeah.
to, you cannot compel,
No, I
a
get-
bylaw you can do, but
Yeah.
you cannot compel the select board to do something that is uniquely in their purview to do or not do.
Yeah, no, it's fair. That's why I'm just curious, like, because I've never seen this before, so just kind of curious if we
highly
went through with it,
Yeah,
would it set a new precedent for,
exactly. Yep,
so I'm just curious for myself.
that's what I'm concerned.
I will say the
yeah.
other side of this is that piece of property is only probably valuable to him, because it's too
And that may
small to
be,
build
and that may
on.
be, but my concern is I don't, like Mr. Weeks said,
talking it through,
I don't want to
yeah.
set a precedent.
No.
That's the case with this town-owned piece of property, but it may not be the case with every town-owned piece of property. And if we do this here, what's to say that somebody else comes to us and says, well, you just did it for this other guy, why aren't you gonna do it for me? Now, in the past, we've always sold these pieces of property at auction.
At
I don't
auction,
see why
yes,
we aren't
yes.
doing the same
And I can
thing.
see what's doing an auction for this and him
Yeah.
being the only bidder.
And that may very well happen, and then that's fine, everybody's happy, we get money, he gets what he wants, that's
Right.
great. But I think it's a more democratic, open, transparent process, and it doesn't feel like special treatment. And it doesn't feel like we're setting some kind of weird precedence.
Right.
So just, some food for thought on that. Generally, if you have an auction, we hire an auctioneer to do that, and they charge us for advertising, they take a portion of
I
the
guess
sale and things like that. So you sell the property for $4,000, we're gonna end up.
We
with a
wouldn't
very small
only
amount of
do
money.
that property, and you know that she's always bundled a bunch of properties together. That's what we'd be doing,
I
so,
think that
yeah.
the short-term gain on this is that would be, if that person buys it, then it's taxed in forever, right? But the short term of making it easy in this particular instance, the short and long-term cost is now that there's a precedent that we're circumventing an entire process.
100%, right. Yep,
That's the issue, I think, is just
Yeah,
procedurally,
'cause
not
in
so much
reality,
about the
any-
dollars, it's just about procedural.
Any town-owned property, somebody can say, well, I want to buy that one, so.
Yeah, I mean, nothing would stop a land developer from just going to
Right.
the town and just saying, I'm gonna do this. And
Yeah.
then it would become something that you could do a citizen's petition for, because you've already set the precedent that you just gotta get it on town meeting
Yep.
warrant. But potentially, who
Yep.
knows?
I agree.
all right,
So,
do we need to move to,
Close it.
close the warrant, and do we need to move, we don't need to place and recommend, do we, tonight?
no, we don't need to place and recommend.
What is the deadline for us having to place and recommend?
Well, we talked about that you wanted to do the mock meeting first, and then, I thought we'd place tonight and then recommend after that, but we can do them all at once, after the mock meeting.
I don't have an updated copy because my 38.
Wait, I mean, what is the board, I think we should place and recommend tonight as many as we can, if we've got the information.
Yes, but you have a hearing.
Yeah, you get a hearing and a wage and personnel.
Okay,
meetings.
well, okay, I think my thought process was, we would have somebody to, theoretically, to answer questions if we had them. Because sometimes we'll go into vote and we're like, well, we don't have the answer, we can't even.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, all right,
So not tonight.
all right, not tonight, exactly. Okay, anything else that you wanted to?
So I did also, I crafted the article for the override. What number is that one?
So,
No,
What number is that?
I'm getting it, hold on.
Gotta be early on. Article 6.
Article 6.
Okay.
So I crafted the, article for the override. The language is in Article 6 regarding $3 million. And in the explanation, and Eric did double check my numbers and they're all accurate. I did put the explanation of actually, a portion of why where we are for the override, regarding the school assessment, that we had placed a 7% or less in our budget. The school came in at 9.87. So I did break down the numbers as they would apply. So the school amount of the override is $1,477,627. A portion of the override is the $344,000 to add the 4 firefighters, and then $1,178,373 would be for the Town of Hanson operational / government services. So it kind of breaks down the override for, we have it in one, but it actually breaks it down with how much is for the schools, it includes for the firefighters, and for the town operations. So that has been added. We also updated language for,
I'm looking at Article 7, which is capital improvement. Where are we on that?
we have been working on putting the matrix together. We have the article in here. I don't know if, there are some articles in here for capital, for highway. I don't know if they've reached out to the capital improvement committee or not.
I've heard
Ask
nothing.
Joe on that.
Who would they even be reaching out to? It's you and Corinne and you?
Yeah, I mean, ever since we went to alternate members, I've been an alternate ever since, because I've been trying to back out of that committee. So I am not at the helm of this committee.
Yeah, we haven't met, and we haven't, I mean, I'm not sure if Frank's getting stuff. and-
Frank resigned.
Frank
I
resigned.
know, but I mean,
No, he would be forwarding it if he did.
he'd be forwarding it somewhere, right? Or he hasn't sent anything to you?
Still on the committee?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think so.
Okay.
So, Kurt,
Kurt Tarvis.
I don't know that he's actively
I don't think he
engaged.
is. I don't think he is.
I'm not even 100% sure he's still in town.
Oh, interesting.
But I don't want to start a rumor, but I'm not 100% sure about that.
Okay.
So,
I have no, I really only think it's Ed, myself, and Corinne. I think that's it, because Ken had resigned, Frank had resigned.
So there would be a question that I would pose to town council is, can we include capital on this town meeting without, without going before the capital improvement committee?
I don't think it's so much the capital improvement committee, it's including the capital improvement matrix.
It's a bylaw.
Yeah,
Yeah, we are working on the matrix, just to make sure we can update it as much as possible. Again, without really any guidance, we're working on it.
so I think that.
We have the article in here.
I think the question for town council is, in the absence of a quorum for capital improvement in accordance with our bylaw, we are the appointing authority for capital improvement. Would a vote of the select board on a completed capital improvement matrix suffice?
Okay, I'll send that out to Kate tomorrow.
It might just be beneficial just to read the capital improvement bylaws.
Yes.
Just so you're aware.
Yep.
It's pretty prescriptive.
Yeah. Of course, I don't think it says in the absence of a quorum what we do, but
No,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yes.
it's a place to start, just.
Protocols.
That's where the guidance,
Yeah.
with some level of guidance that, be informed what the questions come from.
we're charting new territory that we aren't looking to charter, but nevertheless, here we are.
It's completely smooth.
All right, anything else?
So in just, Article 18, actually, let me see if it's still Article 18.
So you want to talk about Article 6 that we're pulling it out because that's going to be in the override? Bobby's article?
Oh, well, no, Article 6 isn't gonna be pulled out, the override, the firefighter article.
Yeah, that's
Which
right.
number is that one?
I thought that was Article 6.
No, Article 6 is for the whole override. We have
Article 17 should be removed,
is it Article 17? Hold on.
because that is acting as though that's a separate item, which it is not.
So, yeah, so our Article 17, we will strike Article 17 because we're including it in Article 6. And then Article 18, which, that is the, that basically, that's the fund from free cash to, for the legal fees associated with the MBTA Communities District statute. So, the language was just updated on that, and then the explanation that.
Where did that number come from?
We asked our legal counsel.
Okay, it's an odd number, that's why.
Yeah,
Like it was 300,000, I can understand, but it's
I
175.
think they based it partially on, I don't know, but I know we did ask legal counsel.
Okay.
And we'd have to hire, special legal counsel. It would not be, Talaman, Mead and Talaman. But, Mr. Weeks had asked I believe at our last meeting, or if not the meeting before that, whether our budget included this dollar amount. Both, whether we had the override or not, because we do have to defend ourselves.
This is from free cash. So
Okay, and this
yes.
is in our budget.
It's in the free cash projection.
Yep, okay, yep, okay, yep. Did that make sense? Because I knew you had asked that. Okay.
So those are the updates, that we have, on the update. And of course, we're always just tweaking the language, and we will be sending it to, town council for their final review and any tweaks in language. But, the board votes to close the warrant tonight, that'll be it. One question that I do want to pose to the board, has to do with, the Laquan land. There's an article in here right now that towards the back, just looked at these today.
Actually, okay. It's, what article is it?
30? Article 30.
No, it's not. No.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so 38 is coming out, that's,
Article 34.
it's 34 now, okay?
Okay, I just want, so. Miss-
Okay.
May I just chime in, because if you recall, I had a couple of conversations with Ms. Stolfer today.
Yep.
So, so originally, if you recall, at the last meeting, some of the folks from the library had come and talked to us about whether they could have 3 acres set aside, in the event that they had to expand the library. After talking to Ms. Stolfer today, I asked whether this was a requirement of the grant that they were about to apply for us to do this. She said that it is not. And since it is not a requirement of the grant at this time, I really think that we should remove this. Where they're at with the library is they're going to hire an architect with their own funds and have designs done that will be submitted to the MLBC, which is the Massachusetts Library, whatever, Building Commission. And then at a point, probably close to October town meeting, they will need a firmer assurance from the town that should the town vote to fund the library, and move forward with one of the designs, that we in fact have set aside some land. Obviously, we're not doing anything between now and October with that piece of property. So we can strike that article and, but put a placeholder on for the October town meeting. Thanks for mentioning that, Ms. Green. 34? 34. Are there any other kind of little placeholders that, I mean, we can remove, we just can't, add once we close the warrant. So if we go through next week and, or next, at the next meeting.
There's no changes in the special.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to, close the May annual town meeting, and is there anything on the special town meeting warrant?
Special has not changed.
Okay.
Everything remains the
All
same.
right, I will entertain a motion to close the May annual town meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? I will entertain a motion to close the May special town, did I just say special town meeting the last time? No, May special town meeting.
So moved.
All in favor? Okay, great. Okay. Anything else on that, Ms. Green?
No, that's about it.
Okay, MBTA Community Act update. I think you guys all saw that, the filing was done. And then we got a response from our attorney, saying that, we would need to provide some affidavits for them when they go to court, that would talk about the impact of MBTA Community Act. Thanks, Eric. Eric, was there anything you wanted to say to us?
No, I can wait.
I'm sorry,
No, that's okay, no, I just, no, I wasn't sure where the budget discussion was going with the overrides and stuff like that. So, you know,
well, I'm sorry to be all over the place and back again, but, so do you guys want to split? Is this where you're going?
no, I was more like just informing the board that, just I'll give you one piece of information.
Yeah.
That'll be helpful.
Yes,
So, if the override doesn't pass, I did the proportional cuts, and the assessment would have to be reduced by $940,000 in order to meet our criteria, that we set forth, so that's it. So I'll just give you that number.
so the school assessment would need to be reduced.
Reduced by 940, and the towns would take proportional cuts as well. So I think that's good enough,
Okay,
all right?
all right, thanks.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you've been doing. I know you've been doing a lot behind the scenes. Thank you. It's been a daily fire drill, daily whack-a-mole, type of thing with Miss Green. And thank you for everything you've been doing behind the scenes too, Miss Green. So MBTA Community Act, we were asked by legal counsel to prepare, to get folks, the fire chief, police chief, et cetera, highway, to talk about what the impact, of, the MBTA Community Act, would be if it were to be imposed upon us, and what it would be if we do not receive grants. And Ms. Green is gonna reach out and coordinate that. That brings us to one-day liquor licenses. I will did anybody have any questions about MBTA? Okay. I will entertain a motion to approve 3:30:25, Kaylee Standish, 5:10:25, 2 o'clock, Stephanie Lyden, 7:19:25, Christopher Mueller, 9:20:25, Robert Wilbur, and 9:27:25, Amy Sexton.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Great. I will entertain a motion to approve the March 11th open session minutes.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Great. Any burning committee updates?
I've got one.
Yes.
Yesterday, a public meeting of all of the land use boards, or most of the land use boards,
Yeah.
took place in this room. It was a posted public meeting, lot of good discussion. They're thinking of meeting quarterly.
Awesome.
There wasn't representation from the zoning board of appeals except for me, who I'd like to have more. And there was a few different groups that weren't part of it, but basically it was a very good discussion, kind of more open discussion. Like CPC was saying, we've got money that we can spend. What do you guys want to spend? So it was good to have the cross-pollination, cross-discussion. I'm sure the meeting minutes will be very interesting, but I'm not going to include everything in the meeting, but it's good. We're going to try to meet quarterly, and I think there's a meeting scheduled for June.
I'm thrilled.
Yes.
This has been a long time. Mr. Weeks knows this has been something we've been talking about for years.
Yes, and it's.
Years.
And it's
So,
happening.
yeah, I'm thrilled.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? All right, Ms. Green, Town Administrator report.
Okay. Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the board. So I'm happy to report that the survey, the Town of Hanson override survey that Bridgewater State has been assisting us with is done. All of the changes and revisions have been made and additions are added. There's a link that will go on our website, the Hanson Budget website, Facebook page. There's a link that will be put on all of those. There's also a QR code, where our office will be making flyers tomorrow that we'll talk about the Hanson override, survey. And we will, make lots of copies of this QR code, and we'll basically spread it out amongst the different town departments so people can start, looking at the override. We will be printing out copies of the override, and bringing it to the different departments, bring it to the senior center, the library, things like that, and then we'll create boxes that people can drop them off in, and then I'll deliver them so the Bridgewater State can tally. Again, this was no cost to the town, but the survey really will, basically give us, an idea of where residents are and their thoughts and their knowledge of the override. And if the override doesn't pass, some of the services that would be reduced, it does ask them what they will do, if that service is cut.
This isn't anything binding, though. We're not
No.
gonna say.
Oh, it's not binding, no.
It's not a
this is
vote.
just-
If everybody wants to remove the select board, we're not, I know it isn't gonna.
No, it's not binding,
But
it's just a
not
survey to
gonna
just,
happen. You know what I mean? It's.
basically
what is
get the
purpose of
information
this,
out.
I guess, is the.
Well, it asks some very good questions, and again, people.
No, it asks good questions.
People, hopefully this will get more people involved in
Is
get
that
them
the idea, is
thinking
getting
about an
people-
I
override.
think it's to engage and to get a pulse on
Yes.
how
Okay.
people feel about things, and, because periodically, we can, we can talk amongst ourselves, but, and we may have groups of people that we talk to, but it's good to reach out more broadly and just get feedback from people.
No, I agree. I hope what we get back is of value. I just see us doing a lot of things like that, and we get back, we're like, well, that isn't what we really want.
It's possible.
But I'm hoping it's valuable, what comes out of this.
Yeah, anything is possible, but like I said, Bridgewater State worked on it, this didn't cost the town anything, and hopefully, again, as, our chair has mentioned, hopefully it'll give us a pulse, of where the town is, you know, as far as the thoughts.
Well, please thank them for working on this
Oh,
for us.
I have,
Yeah.
yeah. We will forward a copy of the QR code to the Express, and a link to the Express, so that they have it, so people can just click on the, you know, QR code through the Express and then,
And how long is this open for? I mean, it's open now, or soon. but it-
everything will be available
Can't be open
tomorrow,
long.
and we figure probably by mid-April, so that they'll have time to tally everything and then
Yeah,
present us
So you've got a
the
couple
findings.
weeks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
It's probably a silly question, you've already answered it, but it's anonymous unless they put their email address
It's,
in there.
yeah, it's anonymous, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing that asks for anybody's, yeah, unless they want to, you know, apply to enter into the raffle.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw. Okay.
Other than
we're
that,
not gonna
it's
be-
not required.
We're not gonna be forensically doxing people or.
No, I didn't
Yeah.
think so, I just.
Yeah,
for the sake of it.
exactly.
Like, I'm assuming the email isn't tied to their answers in any way. I'm assuming that's too.
No, and they, like I said, if you would like, you know, to enter into win a couple of the tumblers, you
You know what I
certainly
mean?
put your email
It's like,
address.
No,
you
no,
fill
no.
out your answers,
Like
and
a
then your
monkey
email
survey,
should
separate.
not be tied to your.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's.
no, we're not gonna have any of the raw data. Bridgewater State is, we're not gonna have, nor do we want to have the raw data.
Give it to us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're gonna tally all the results and then provide us with the findings.
And that is clear in that little blurb. It's a little bit longer than I'd like to see, because I don't think people read that much, but it is clear in the blurb.
Well, I mean, the survey would get their attention because like I said, it just asks questions on, you know, if a service were to be reduced or cut completely,
No, I
what
don't-
would you do
Oh,
to,
I'm
you know,
not- I'm not
what would
against
you
the
do to
question.
replace it within your own line, you know?
I will
saying
say,
that-
I get
that
what
stage.
Mr. Hill is saying. It's a little
Oh,
weird that first sentence is focusing on Dr. Melinda Tarsi Goldfield, like, it should start off by saying, you know, you're being invited by the select board, and then something down the bottom perhaps that says this was done in collaboration with the Bridgewater State. I mean, like, it's like way to bury the lead. And then, you know, if you agree, it could, because you want to say, if you agree, it's confidential, you know, like, so, and actually, I believe that Melinda is mentioned several times, actually, in the opening paragraph,
long.
which may be a little bit, redundant.
Okay.
I must admit, in the version that you gave me, this language, I did not see this language. I think this might have been added as in the final version. Because now that I'm looking at it, it's, I mean, the mug thing, I think is kind of strange. And I'm not really sure why we're giving away mugs, and I don't know why we're mentioning Melinda, although I appreciate her partnership, and we can certainly attribute things, but it's like several different, and I don't know, maybe she's got required language that she has to put in there, I don't really know, but if there's a way to dumb it down and talk about, like, this is confidential, the town of Hanson's not gonna get the raw data, you know, like,
Yeah, the town of Hanson won't see
Yeah.
anything except the final report over it.
To the degree which, you take brief survey, minutes and length, which involves no risk or discomfort to you as a participant.
I mean,
Why even suggest that there might be some discomfort?
my heart,
Taking a survey.
a lot of people's hearts
Just-
palpitate, you know?
Just because they're an undergrad research
Yeah.
class, they're just using standardized language.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
probably a student that wrote this and they're just putting it together, so. I agree with what everybody's saying. I would just say, because it doesn't say explicitly that it's, anonymous, so just as long as it just says that, that's fine with me.
I'm a little surprised about the email thing, because I don't know, I feel conflicted about that. If people want to reach out to us, they can reach out to us, and I don't necessarily want people's emails to be attached to, I gotta be honest with you, I'd be very jaded. I'd be like, yeah, I'm sure they're not gonna use my email, it's attached to my responses. I
I'm
wouldn't.
gonna start receiving email from the town.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if you want to sign up, you know, but
They do say you don't have to put your email.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
says, you know.
There's just a lot, that you practically need a decoder ring to get through this whole like,
Well,
it's pretty dense.
And the prize for entering your email is not exactly something that everybody desires, so I don't think.
You don't want a Bridgewater State travel
I don't
mug?
need another travel mug from anybody.
And I question that the approximate value is $48,
Right,
but,
exactly.
All right, so somehow see if we can shorten.
That needs to be, yeah.
Introductory statement, okay.
Yeah, I think we remove the travel mug completely.
and I'm wondering if there's a way for her to, like, just say, like, this is confidential, you know, you're being invited to do this, you can withdraw at any time. And then if there's like required language, or like if she wants to say, like, if you know, blah, 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 they actually say several times you can withdraw early at any, I mean, there's a lot of redundancies in here. Like, it's like, how many times are you gonna tell people, like, yeah, I know I can leave early? So I'm wondering, is there language they could tuck at the end? Saying, like, if you have concerns, you can contact Bridgewater State or Dr. Melinda Tarsi Goldfeet. You know, I mean,
You know, the key thing here is you're letting the town know how you feel.
yes.
So, and that's not in here at all. Let the
Yeah, I
town
mean, it
know
makes
how
sense.
you feel.
I used to teach at Bridgewater, so I look at things through this lens of like a student.
I'm sure it's some standard language that they've come up with.
I think it's a student that like typed it up to
Okay,
like
all right,
be,
okay.
like to impress
Yeah.
their teacher and do the right thing, and I think the feedback is appropriate. It just brings me back to like research classes, that's all.
It's all AI moment too.
I think there's a little chat GPT in here.
Yes,
Oh,
I think
actually,
it's
good
AI.
point.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's fine, it's
Yeah.
just fine.
Yeah.
I think it's all appropriate.
Yeah, we can, you know, I could definitely talk to her tomorrow and have her shorten that before.
And make it be less
Verbose.
verbose, wordy, repetitive,
Yeah.
and more to the point of, it's a survey you can participate in if you'd like. You can withdraw at any time, but the purpose is to let the town know what you think.
It's definitely a teachable moment, to piggyback off Andy, because it's a teachable moment around, they have to write to the audience that they're trying to get to do the survey, and the audience is not gonna wanna read all of that.
I don't even want to read it, and I'm interested in the survey.
It's very convoluted.
Yeah,
But it's a good effort,
It's a good survey. But
Yeah.
they did a good job.
yeah, but this is great, and please thank them for that.
And thanks for taking this on, doing
Yes.
that. That's great.
Thank you.
All right, so also, this again, Hanson budget and override information, the website is live. It's www.hansonbudget.com. There's a lot of wealth of information on it. Of course, information is subject to change as new information comes in. It's looked at and updated daily. You know, and if anybody has any issues or concerns or questions, they can certainly give our office a call. And then MEMA, Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency, is scheduling didn't I already go do this last week?
Mima, no, because Robbie
No.
just gave it to me.
Okay, I'm having a little deja vu moment then. Sorry. Scheduling, it's a 402 incident management for elected officials.
Oh, yeah.
Training class. Chief Robbie O'Brien, is coordinating this with them. The date will be sometime late April or May, so we will let you know when the
I
class
think he
is.
sent an invitation, somebody
We
sent
have
an invitation.
There's a date.
Yeah, we will send it, so,
Yeah,
June 11th.
oh, it's June 11th? Oh, okay.
yeah, and, this is really, I mean, this was very beneficial. I don't remember who went last year. You did, Ed, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, and,
was
it
there.
really gets you thinking about, like, you know, worst case scenario, what would we do if these one-time weather events or something catastrophic happens? And, you know, you say like, oh, well, we don't get tornadoes, we're not on the ocean, but that doesn't prevent us from having these things. So, and it was really good to have the different departments thinking about how they were gonna connect with one another, what the resources were that we had, like, I would really encourage people to go. It's
I
super.
wish I could.
Is it a day you work?
Of course.
I know.
They never do anything
Yeah.
on Tuesdays or
Based on the
Thursdays, ever.
language, is it something that you and I should go to again? It seemed like it was redundant for people that have already
No, I
been
think
there
they're gonna
before.
build on it, but I'll ask Robbie. And
Yeah.
I'll ask him,
Okay,
like,
because
you know,
the way it was worded, it's like, good for new people and, you know, we're gonna be doing the same thing we did before. But
Yeah,
I don't wanna do that,
I'll ask him.
take time out of my day if it's gonna be the same thing. we did
We've
before.
Good point.
interrupted Lisa's, are you
Yeah.
still, you have more?
Yeah,
I'm just double checking, so, you know, it was June 11th, I was just checking to see if the time was
Yeah.
the same. I originally had a time of 8 to 12, but I understand it's running from 9 to 12, so I was just double checking that information. And again, we'll send out more information, as more information becomes available on it. And again, just to give you an update, we've been negotiating with the 4 unions. We have our union date set up, working on a number of human resources matters. And also, this Friday, the 28th, Town Hall is welcoming the Indian Head Elementary School second grade class to come and visit Town Hall. They're going to take a tour of Town Hall. They will see our meeting rooms. They will talk with department heads. And we will show them everything that we do here in Town Hall. So we're looking forward to having these young men and women visit Town Hall and hopefully set them on a course for municipal, for municipal careers. And that, basically, that completes my town administrator report for today.
and I did just get an email from Ms. Stolper saying that she needs an article added to the town meeting warrant to create a, library building committee. So we will have to reopen it at the next meeting and add that.
She didn't know that until now.
It's, you know what, there's a lot of moving parts on this. There's a lot of running around. And I'm just gonna say, leave it at that. All right, so, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. We are going to go to wage and personnel. So I will entertain a motion to leave open, session of our general meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. And then I'm turning it over to David for wage and personnel.
Does he get the, thing?
Oh, did you want the gavel in case people get unruly? No? Okay, all right.
Oh, we're good. Do I have to call it to order?
Yes.
Oh, I call it to order now. All right. New business, review of wage and personnel bylaw classifications. A, review all wage and personnel positions in the warrant article.
Hold on just 1 second.
And that's this sheet at the back? Looks like,
Okay, so everybody should have a copy of this document in their file.
Yep.
No, it's kind of small. Okay, so, what we're doing is we are just updating some of the some of the salaries, and wages. Again, just to be competitive, just to make sure there's, room available for increases. Our Director of Elder Affairs, we have increased that from 35,000 to 75,000 as of the October special town meeting. This town meeting, we're increasing from 35,000 to 80,000, just to make sure that we have, room in the budget and in the bylaw for increases for our, council and aging director. Also, Inspector of Buildings, the full-time salary, we're increasing that from 75,000 to 105,000. Right now, with surveying all our surrounding towns that are similarly situated to Hanson, the average building commissioner salary is $100,000. And that is for a building commissioner who has the credentials as a building commissioner. So we're increasing that just to make sure we're able to, continue to be competitive and hold on to a building commissioner, which is required, by statute. Some of the other changes would be the gas inspector, plumbing inspector, and wiring inspector. Prior rates were $22 to $30 per inspection. We're increasing that to $35 to $45 an inspection only. again, just to be competitive, when you look at what the going rates for these inspectors are, you know, they don't need to be doing inspections for us, they can be working, so we need to increase the fee per inspection to remain competitive and to keep qualified, and credentialed gas inspector, plumbing inspector, and wire inspector.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is the gas inspector and the plumbing inspector one and the same person?
They are one and the same, so they receive the fee for the gas, they receive a fee for the plumbing.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Green, should we be, is it inspector of buildings or is it building commissioner?
It should read building commissioner.
Okay, and then similarly in FF of the
Yeah.
part-time position, shouldn't that be building inspector?
It could be commissioner or inspector.
Well, we'd never really hire a part-time building commissioner probably, right?
Well, this would be if we had to have somebody come in to do an inspection, say what we needed to do when we worked with Halifax.
Okay.
We had their building commissioner come in to do inspections and they were able to sign certificates of occupancy. So that's why we would label it that, building commissioner, because anything less than a building commissioner would not be able to sign a certificate of occupancy.
Okay, but so the C should be building commissioner, and then FF was still keeping building commissioner in case we need to hire somebody.
Just to fill in if we
Okay.
need to, yes.
And then
So
we're
we will
not.
update that.
I know we don't have an assistant inspector of buildings, but.
We do not.
Well, that rate is different from the one down at
Exactly.
FF.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Why is it 35 to 45 up there and it's FF, it's 40 to 50? Why wouldn't it be 40 to 50 up here? Under C.
So the C actually pertains to a position, that's an hourly position. The FF actually is per review. So the inspector of buildings part-time rate, that's the hourly rate for a part-time person. The one below is per review. So again, if we had to hire a commissioner to come in and like review a permit, review an inspection, and then issue, sign a certificate of occupancy, that's what the per review is as up above. So if we were to hire an inspector of buildings that doesn't have the commissioner certification, but holds the local inspector certification, that's what that person would fall into if we were to bring on someone as a part-time.
Makes sense.
And then, okay, and we feel that those are competitive rates?
Yeah, so as the building commissioner, if you notice, it was $25 to $30 per review. We've increased it to $40 to $50 per review.
And have we looked at whether our inspectional fees are competitive with the towns around us?
I will have to check with the new building commissioners.
Because we're increasing what we're paying them, which I know we need to do,
Right.
because I know that that's ridiculously low.
Aren't we increasing in the,
Wouldn't that
Well,
fall,
we didn't have it outlined, so I didn't.
oh, I thought in the, oh, okay.
wouldn't that fall under the permit fees?
That's
Once
what
you-
I'm,
once
that's
you
what
buy
I'm
it-
asking.
Once you get
Yeah.
a building permit, that includes your inspection.
That's what I'm saying, so are our inspectional fees, like, are we incrementally increasing those? Because what we don't want to happen is now we've got,
Costing us money.
exactly.
I will double check. I'm sure that our new building commissioner has looked into that.
Yes.
We definitely don't want to lose money on it.
Yeah,
So I will check and make sure that these fees are keeping up with what the permit fees are.
thank you.
And are we competitive in the milk inspector line? I know
It's hard to say.
Hey,
it looks pretty low. I mean, I feel like with
Well,
this is,
I think your building permit goes on how much money you're spending on building whatever it is you're building. That's how your permit is.
Yeah, but there's like minimums, and they definitely vary from town to town, because I have to pull electrical permits all the time, and they definitely vary.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'll check and see if everything is keeping up to make sure we're not losing any money, because we definitely can't afford to do that. Yeah, milk inspector,
Who is our milk inspector?
Don't know.
Is it, oh, I was gonna wonder if it was the health agent, okay.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, by the way.
don't know if that's, they not haven't heard anything from the Board of Health.
No one's complained about the $300 a
That
year.
or not.
So are we looking for a vote on this, or just review?
Yeah, what are we doing?
So,
Do you want to wait until, do we want to have another meeting so we can check numbers before we approve this?
For the fees?
No,
I think the
I'm fine-
fees are
I'm
separate
fine.
from.
Yeah, exactly, I feel that they're separate, yeah.
Okay.
so, yep, so we would just do a motion to approve, the new, wage classification compensation chart, as presented to the
So
board.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Who moved that?
Me,
Oh, and then who seconded it? Ed, okay, thanks.
we have to approve me.
That wasn't a hearing though, right?
No, it wasn't a hearing, no.
Right, so we didn't have to open it up as a hearing.
All right,
Okay.
review of any other articles necessary? No? We're good with that?
Yep.
All right, I make a motion to approve, the meeting minutes, January 14th, 2025, January 28th, 2025.
So moved.
Second,
All in favor?
beat you to it. I never get to make a motion.
Oh,
She
I should have kept my mouth shut. Okay, now
I'll
we
ma,
can-
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, is that a roll call or is that all in favor?
Just call them.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye.